Hi, Robert Cook here from 3Forge. Today we're going to be talking about how to install AMI. That includes downloading, installing, and configuring our software product AMI. So first off, if you haven't already done this, you need to create an account. You can click on the try or buy and then say sign up for free and fill in this information. At that point, you will receive an email, verify all of that fun stuff, and then your account will be enabled by someone on our team to download the software. Once that's done, you'll receive an email saying that that's been set up, and you can always reach out to someone through our Contact Us page as well, and then they will get you set up. So I'm going to go ahead and log in now. There we go. And first thing we'll see here, enterprise user. So I've been configured to download the software. And then we have a bunch of tabs here. The one we care about now is files. So when I click on files, we're going to see that there are a handful of versions available. So just to mention, it's all 9975 QA is what's been set up for me. And then basically we've got 4 different operating systems that we're supporting, or 4 different packages, 3 different operating systems. So we have the Windows, Mac OS, Unix, which actually has an installer, and then we have atar.gz, which is where you can just expand it and start it up yourself. So I've gone ahead and downloaded the software, so now I'm going to go ahead and just run that. It's going to walk through the installation wizard process, which is going to ask us a few questions, et cetera, and then it's going to install the software. So obviously, first off, you do need to have admin rights if you're on Windows, so that's an important thing, as most installations require at this point. And so now that I've set myself up as an admin, I'm going to go ahead and just follow the steps, carefully read the agreement, next. And now I will do the install in the default location. Okay, and as I mentioned, this is getting installed on Windows. If you're installing it on Unix, it's very similar. You also will get basically a step-by-step guide that you follow. I'm going to leave this checked, run AMI1, and so that's basically going to start up AMI on my desktop automatically. So what that's actually doing is it's starting up a web server on my local desktop, and once that's done, it's going to automatically launch a web page, which is now you can see pointing to localhost because the web server is running on my local host, and by default our port is 33332. So when you take it out of the box, there's a default user that's already been created for you, demo, and the password is demo123. This basically allows you to log in with that default username password. Before I do that, I'm just going to mention that you'll notice down here it says, due to licensing process will shut down basically at 4:40 p.m. Right now it's 2:40 p.m. So if you haven't set up a license, the product will run for 2 hours and shut down. So in a moment here, we're going to go ahead and set up a license. But first, let's just log in. Demo123. Let's go ahead and log in. And now we're basically presented with our dashboard builder, which we cover in other video tutorials. But for the sake of this video tutorial, what I'll go through is if you go to Help About, this is actually going to give you the version that's running. So we've got a QA build 9975 and the build date that it was actually created. We've also got the environment here. This is basically going to tell you what's available to the JVM that this is running in. So we've got 8 gigs almost, the version, et cetera, the host that it's running on, and also where it's been installed. So you can always go back here to see where it's actually been set up. And then the libraries, obviously these are just all the jars that is getting picked up at runtime, at startup. Okay. So with that said, and then we've also got this contact support at 3forge.com. So of course, if you have any questions, you can email us at support@3forge.com and we will be happy to help you out. Okay, so I'm going to close that out. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up the license, and that's basically going to allow us to run this for longer periods of time than 2 hours. So first off, I'm going to basically log out. And the reason I'm going to do that is because there's useful information in this message. So the application's AMI1, and the host that I'm running on is Blacksmith PC5. So what I need to do now is I'm going to go over to my portal, and I'm going to go to the Licenses tab, and I'm going to say Create a License. And down here, I'm going to choose AMI1, because that's the product that I've installed, and I'm going to choose that host name. So I'm going to go ahead and copy and then paste. This can be a comma delimited list if you have additional hosts you want to set up in one shot. And now I'm going to go ahead and hit create. This creates a license for us. So I can now copy this text. And now I actually want to go and put this license on in the directory where AMI is running. So I'm going to go ahead and go over to where it was installed, which is C drive, program files, AMI, AMI1. And now I'm going to go ahead and say create a new text file, which I will call f1 license.txt. Okay. And then all I need to do is put the contents of that file, or of that thing I copy and pasted, into this file, and go ahead, save that, and exit. And by the way, you can't modify the contents of this. It will fail the checksum. It won't start up. But you can always go and recreate a new license if you need to. So I'm going to go ahead, now save that. I'm going to exit. Okay, great. So now I need to restart AMI so that it picks up that license, and then this message should go away. So first thing I'm going to do, easiest way to actually shut down AMI is if you're logged in as an admin. And by the way, demo123 is an admin by default. Now I'm going to go ahead and just say shutdown. So I have this option. This is actually going to shut down the web server and AMI completely. And now we get this message saying that basically the web server has been shut down. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and restart it. Right, you should see this show up. You can always find it under all programs using, the standard Windows searching tool. And I'm going to go ahead and restart it now. So same behavior as before. It's going to start up the web server, and then it's going to start up a web browser. By the way, if you do run that and the web server is also already running, then it's just going to start up a web server. So that's okay. Demo123, going to go ahead and log in. And now you can see that message has gone away. So the license has been set up. Okay, great. So now I want to spend a minute or two talking about the layout directory of how this was installed. So first off, I chose to install it under C drive, program files, AMI. It installed AMI1, and just a few key things to talk about. First off, there's a scripts directory. This is where the scripts are located for manually starting and stopping if you don't want to use the start menu feature. And by the way, this is the same whether it's on Linux or on a Mac. It's actually the same install. The only difference is the installer wizard. So basically you can run these scripts, .bat if you're on Windows, .sh if you're on Unix. So that's the scripts directory. The log directory, that's basically where the logs are kept. If AMI fails to start up, which is pretty uncommon, a good place to look is error.log. So that's basically giving you any errors that might be taking place, and output.log is also useful. In this case, we can see, okay, accepted F1's license file, and you can see basically everything looks good here, and opened browser too, so everything was fine. So again, log files, output.log, error.log, and then additional logs inside here. So AMI1.log basically is growing as you do things inside AMI. So that's keeping track of what's going on. And then we roll those log files. So we had a .01, .02, .03 as time goes on. So we keep rolling them. Okay, so next we've got the config directory. The config directory is an important one to talk about. So first off, a few things inside here, build.properties. This actually gives you that information we saw before. So when the build process takes place, it basically creates this file with all the information about the build, it's like the version. And then the next thing is default.properties. So what happens is when AMI starts up, it looks for root.properties, and root.properties just says the order in which it should start, including all the other property files. So it basically says pull in default.properties. This is for doing logging. And then this one we're going to talk about now. So we're going to create a local.properties. And the way this works is the local.properties, anything we set in there is going to override what is in the default.properties. So for example, if I open the default.properties, we can see when we scroll down that we've got HTTP port set for 33332. So let's hypothetically say I want to set this up on a different port. All I do is I create a new text document, and I will call this local.properties. Okay, and now I can go ahead and edit this guy, drop in this port, give it a change. So I'll say 12345. Go ahead and save that. Yes. Okay, exit that. And now if I restart AMI, it's going to start up on port 12345. So I'm going to go ahead and shut down AMI again. And now I will start up AMI, and we'll see that it's actually going to open it on port 12345. Now, while that's taking place, I'll talk about why it's set up this way. So we basically don't bundle a local.properties with our install. And the reason we do that is so that once you've created this file, no matter how many times you install or update, basically this local.properties sticks around. So you don't have to worry about when you're updating. You don't have to worry about replacing or copying or moving any files around. Updates are very, very seamless. And in fact, the update procedure is identical to the installation procedure, except at one point it's going to say, are you sure you want to update? You say yes. We recommend shutting down AMI before doing an update. So go ahead, log in now. And the important thing is you can see that it's actually set it up for, and I typed the password wrong. There we go. And you can see that now it's running on port 12345. Okay, well, I think this covers it for today in terms of how to get the basic product set up, get it installed, and do some rudimentary configuration. So with that said, definitely check out the other videos and look forward to talking to you again. Bye.